But with the surge in COVID cases.
Hello, everyone. I want to talk about one of the stories in the news today from Duluth. A seemingly healthy couple in healthcare, both came down with COVID. One, no symptoms whatsoever. The other hospitalized for 3 days. Not a lot of information given about the couple other than they work in healthcare. They follow all the protocols. They wash their hands. They wear their masks. They do social distancing. They do all these things. And yet they both are COVID positive, one of them hospitalized. But the title of this thing thrown in here, this seemingly healthy, I was just actually trying to find it again to talk about this a little bit. The seemingly healthy part. Our culture, we don't define health very well. Health used to be defined by the World Health Organization as your body functioning at 100% of its potential, not merely the absence of disease and infirmity, meaning how well your body functions. And I just, because I haven't looked at it in 15 years or so, I've been just talking about it forever, I thought I better check and see if that's the same. I just checked, and it actually includes this. It's a state of well-being, not merely the absence of disease and infirmity or something like that. I thought, well, well-being, how do you put well-being in there? What is that? What is well-being? It's like, for me, that's like holistic. What is well-being? I looked that up. We go to Merriam-Webster. Well-being says health, happiness, and or prosperity. Health, happiness, or prosperity, meaning one or the operator being or in this story. You could be wealthy and sick, and that's well-being. You could be healthy and poor, and that's well-being. I'm not sure why they added that. I love the older definition. Health is your body's functioning at 100% of its potential. What does that mean? That means if you go for a run, your respiration speeds up to keep your oxygen level high so you don't fall and hit your head on the ground. If you go outside and it's 30 degrees, you don't have a jacket, within minutes, your body will start shivering, shaking, creating heat. If you're out in the summer, it's 95 degrees and 75% humidity, you're going to sweat so you don't overheat. That is your body adapting to the demands of the environment. And guess what? Demands in the environment are things like flu viruses, the measles, chicken pox. Your body has to adapt to those things just the same. And one of those things is, of course, COVID, right? So while there's no treatment, here's the Attorney General, Minnesota Attorney General says there's no treatment, there's no prevention, there's no cure of COVID. Nobody gets to say anything about this. But I would say this, that all the stuff that they're telling you, and keep looking over here because it's actually still playing right here on KSTP's stream. All the things they're telling you that you need to do, wash your hands, wear the face mask, keep your distance from people, stay at home, don't go out in public. Still, people who are doing that are still dealing with infection and going to the hospital. So even despite doing all these things, it seems to me you're at some point going to run across this coronavirus in your environment, and you should be able to adapt to that and respond appropriately. Now, the thing that it does, this coronavirus seems very, very unique in that it causes a cytokine storm, which is an inflammatory response in your body. And people say, oh, he was healthy, but he responded, this happened. It was an overreaction of the immune system. Then that's not healthy. Your immune system does just what it needs to do, not too little and not too much. If it does too much, you're unhealthy. If it does too little, you're unhealthy. So our challenge here is with what is healthy. But our culture defines healthy as feeling good, generally looking good, feeling good. We would say that's healthy. We did this cancer workshop last night, and some of the stats on there about being overweight and cancer. We know that being overweight increases your risk of cancer. But here's the other thing. Being underweight and not fit and not healthy doesn't help either. You could be lower than 50. You could be 15% body fat. Your risk of dying if you're not fit is twice that of the average bear. So it isn't really just about being skinny and not being fat. So it is about being healthy. And healthy is your body's ability to adapt to the stressors in the environment. That stressor could be it's hot out, it's cold out. You have to lift, rocks or lay cement or something. You got to be able to run away from a saber-toothed tiger, for instance. That is your ability to adapt. And it also is your ability to get a fever and cough up some gunk if you get a virus or a bacteria and not succumb to it. So those two competing theories, one is called the theory from the 20th century was called the germ theory when we invented antibiotics. And we thought germs cause disease and antibiotics kill the germs. Therefore, we can keep people healthy with antibiotics. We know that's not true. We know we've created some germs doing this. We've created unique germs that are beyond the reach of any medication we have now. So we know that the germ theory doesn't quite explain it all accurately. What better explains it is what is called the terrain theory. Terrain theory is your body is the terrain. Your body is where the germs are going to be living. They're the terrain. They're going to plant their seed. You're just like the dirt outside. This is the dirt outside for the germs to set up disease. Terrain theory says this, and how I take care of this presents resistance or an open door for the germs to set up disease and cause disease and potentially kill me. Terrain theory far better explains what needs to be done with this. What we need to do is really take care of ourselves. So that's when I talk about also, this is written down for you in a blog post as well. You can read the blog post. There's a list of things, but they're essentially this. You got to sleep 8 hours. You got to keep your immune system happy. Your immune system, we now know, actually is largely dependent on the microbiome. Very interesting. The bugs that live in you and on your skin, the microbiome, bacteria, lactobacillus acidophilus, and things like that. It gets upset by having diarrhea or having constipation or alcohol or smoking, not sleeping well, stressors in your life, leaky gut, goofs up your antibiotics. The biggest screw up in this. So that microbiome is super, super important. How do you keep that up? Well, kimchi, make your own sauerkraut, yogurt, those kind of things, but that's just not enough. Really, I take probiotics myself. I take about 100 billion, give or take, a day or so on average. I don't take them every day, but that microbiome regulates your GI tract. You have regular bowel movements to keep you happy, keep you safe. Actually signals your brain, doesn't. If you have the correct microbiome, it actually keeps your weight down. Very interesting. So that's the main thing. Second, we also know in this thing in coronavirus that people with low vitamin D levels do worse than people with higher vitamin D levels. So I'm thinking if you're going to have coronavirus, you want to have a higher vitamin D level. Now, Attorney General aside, that doesn't make this a treatment for corona or a prevention for corona. I think we can safely recommend you should take vitamin D, which we long have before corona ever entered the story. So, and well, here's the story. Let me show you. So here's the guy that was talking about that prompted this, by the way. Let me show you that. So, yeah, I don't know. That's all we got to go on. Maybe these guys are perfectly fit and healthy, but the guy looks a bit on the heavy side to me, so looks a little heavy and obese, really. And so, does that make you sick? No, but it's some clues to your lifestyle. Again, both of these guys are healthcare workers. They're fiancés. Both of them are healthcare workers. They know all the rules, but yet one of them's hospitalized for 3 days. So back to terrain theory. What do you got to do to not end up in the hospital? Sleep, probiotics, vitamin D. Got to get some exercise. You got to be able to breathe well. You can't be so dysfunctional that you have low tidal volume. You don't breathe well already. Getting adjusted. Here's the thing. Can't say getting adjusted is going to prevent coronavirus. Can't say getting adjusted is going to prevent sciatica or headache at all. Getting adjusted gets your nervous system to work better. That's what we know. That's all we're doing when we're adjusting people. We're getting their spine off of their nervous system. That's it. We know that your nervous system runs your immune system. We know that your nervous system runs your bicep. If your bicep doesn't contract well, we should check the nerves, not the bicep. If your immune system doesn't work well, we should check the nerves. If you don't digest well, we should check the nerves. If you have a headache, we should check the nerves. Doesn't mean your headache's caused by the nerves, but if your nerves work well, you're going to have less headaches or no headaches. Your bicep's going to work right. And guess what? Your immune system will work right. It isn't that getting adjusted improves your immune system. Getting adjusted improves your nervous system. Your nervous system controls your immune system. That's the connection right there. So getting adjusted. So we talked about sleep. We talked about vitamin D. We talked about probiotics. Talk about getting adjusted. The other big thing is really not what you can add, but what you have to really look out for. The cytokine storm in this particular story, the coronavirus utilizes the inflammation response of your body to go crazy. And so people who are in a hyperinflammatory state, meaning you get arthritis, you get sore in the morning, you have arthritis, you have asthma, you have allergies. Those are somewhat hyperinflammatory state, and they're driven a lot by what you're eating. And that is basically sugar and things that turn to sugar. People, when I ask people coming to the office, hey man, how's your diet? Everybody says their diet is fabulous, right? Well, I go to the grocery store like you go to the grocery store. And if you look in the carts behind and ahead of you, you see you got Trix, you got Pop-Tarts, you got Coca-Cola, you got Pepsi, you got, you know, just stuff that doesn't, let's just say this, doesn't serve your health. And a lot of the things are really, really drivers of inflammation. And in fact, the whole middle of the store, all the box things, the crackers things, the put in bags things, the things in cans, the sugared up things, the added high fructose corn syrup things, it's the whole middle of the store, really. Those are the things that drive inflammation. So what do you want to eat? You want to eat veggies. You want to think, you want to, as my friend in Chicago said, you want to be more alive than dead, you got to eat more live food than dead food. So that means fruits and veggies, things in the produce department. And if you're going to eat animal stuff, you're going to want to eat animal stuff that is actually eating what God intended it to eat. That is not putting cows in a pen and feeding them corn. That is eating grass-fed beef. That is eating range chickens. Eggs are okay as well. We eat a lot of eggs. So we try to eat clean proteins. What else? What else? Oh, yogurt. We eat a lot of clean, low sugar yogurt. Don't get the stuff with the fruit on the bottom. That builds up your immune system. It builds up your probiotics also. And yeah, so just repeatedly veggies, some fruits, some protein. And that's how we do it. It's somewhat keto. I heard the phrase pandemic diet. I like that. It's a diet for a pandemic times. It's how we've been eating all along. I am not concerned one iota about coronavirus and my health at all. As you know, I've been here every day. I have my hands on hundreds of people a week. I am not at all concerned that I am going to succumb to coronavirus or the flu virus or the measles or the chicken pox or whatever deadly pox is in humanity. I'm not concerned because this is a lifestyle we've been leading for 10 years. Now, I know you got to start where you start. You know, you're not doing that. I don't know any better than you or the next guy, but I have been doing it for a while. And that's what makes the difference. So just start where you start. If you're drinking a 12-pack of Pepsi, all right, cut back to 6-pack. Get down to 1 next month onto there. And then, yeah, you don't go buy organic grass-fed. You got to get rid of the sugars first. So that's where you start. Start where you start. Do what you can. Get out, get some fresh air, get some exercise, go to bed early, take your vitamin D, 5,000 a day. You know, we know that helps with the flu. We've known that for a long time. Better than a flu shot. If you take vitamin D, your risk of flu is lower than you got a flu shot. So we know those things. So just do those things. It's not so difficult. So hopefully this is helpful. Gives you some peace. I know a lot of people are scared to death, but largely you are in charge. You're in charge of this. So anyway, we'll be back next time. We're going to add a lot more to this. So God bless. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.